Hello, beautiful human, and welcome back to Reignite Your Soul and day number 5 of your self-love challenge, your 10-day self-love challenge. I am super excited to jump into this next topic and just keep this party rolling. But first, I have something that I want to share with you. So, remember how I told you that your brain is just like in this trench, it just keeps going and going and going, like you dug this trench for so long with this exact same routine. So there is something that I have been trialing out that has been freaking epic, that has really, really, really helped to shake my brain up. And I'm going to share that with you. So remember, if you do different things, you have different thoughts, and it's going to help you to break out of that same pattern of thoughts that you're currently having on a day-to-day basis, just by changing little things, like even like how you do the 3-step process. You switch a ring on your finger. Even just switching your ring on a different finger is changing the thought pattern that you naturally have on a daily basis. It's adding in a new thought of, oh fuck, that feels weird. Oh, it's just my ring, right? Even just that one thought, that change in your one thought pattern is changing your complete DNA. So I want you to imagine. So the other night, I normally sleep with, obviously we always sleep with our pillows at one side of the bed, usually wherever the head of the bed is. And a lot of the time, we sleep on the exact same side of the bed. So I challenge you to be super crazy and sleep on the opposite end of the bed. And you're like, no, Laura, I can't do that. Like, what the heck? You're crazy. No, do it. It's like, it's crazy the boundaries we put in our lives. It's like, why can't we sleep at the other end of the bed? Why? Why can't we sleep at a different side of the bed every night? Your spouse, they'd be cool with it, maybe. If not, you're just like, hubby, move over, I'm laying on you. We're switching up sides of the bed. Try it out. I also tried something else this morning. I went into the shower with my socks on. What? You're freaking crazy, Laura. Such a badass, right? Well, no, just freaking try it. It's actually kind of fun. Super weird and uncomfortable being in like soggy socks. And then I also forgot my towel, so that was also a problem. Problem but not problem, because then I just had to walk across the house in my soggy socks, which felt a bit weird, but is getting my brain into a different thought pattern. Because when was the last time my brain thought of the feeling of soggy socks on my feet and how weird that felt? Like, when was the last time you thought of that? You are transforming before our own very eyes. So I want to challenge you guys to just start shaking shit up. Just start challenging current things that you do. Just be curious and playful again. Have some fun with some things. Just try things out. See how they feel. Who knows? Maybe you've been waiting your whole life for something that you enjoy. Maybe wearing your socks in the shower is that thing. But you will never, ever, ever know until you try it for yourself. And that's the magic of life. Because if we don't become open to all of the abundance in the universe, sure, you may not have, the first thing that came to your mind may not have been wearing socks into the shower as abundance of the universe. But it is. And it's just proof that when you kiss enough frogs, or you're open to enough inspiration from the universe, it's going to throw you these little gifts. And sure, that may not have been my breakthrough moment, but maybe it was and I just don't know it yet. Maybe wearing your socks in the shower is going to become the new normal. And I'm going to have started a trend that the whole entire planet decides to take on, because wearing soggy socks on your feet is the freaking best thing ever. Right? You never know. Mind blown. So, if you are brand new to this channel and you have not watched the first few episodes of this self-love challenge, I'm sorry, but I will recommend that you go back to day number 1, and then you'll be at day number 5 in 5 days from now if you're consistent. And if you have been here the whole time, welcome back. I'm so proud of you for your consistency, and I am super excited to continue chatting. So yesterday we chatted about being open and being closed, and how there's no right or wrong to any of it. How as we all go throughout our lives, we're going to have moments of being open where we are able to see the amazing inspiration that the universe is showing us. And we're also going to have those times where we're closed and the universe is throwing those boulders at our door and they're just hitting the ground. We're not seeing them. And it's just going to start getting bigger and bigger and bigger until something happens or until we start becoming more conscious and recognizing when that happens and start shifting ourselves into that more open, positive state where we can really receive all of the gifts that the world has to offer us. So really, like if we have this person that's open, they're receiving all the abundance of the universe. We've got this person that's closed, they're receiving the boulders. We've all been in the open position. We've all been in the closed position. We've all been in the partial situation, right? So if I, the exact same person, am able to go through all three different states, then what is it that makes it different for me to go from one place to the other, right? Like I'm clearly capable of all of them, but what is it that holds me back into that place of being closed or partially closed? And what is it that keeps me in that open alignment? Because we've already went over this, right? Like you and I are basically the exact same thing. We are both human beings. Ah, how beautiful. We are all the same. The only difference is the thoughts that are going on in my head versus your head. We all have this internal world that we only know individually. And that's why I'm really sharing what's going on in my eternal world. So my eternal world is kind of like a fun house sometimes. So beware, yours might not be like that. But if you like that aspect of it, then keep on going. So we're basically the same. We've got these different thoughts. And what else is different is that the goggles that we're looking through the world at. So what kind of lens are you looking at? I like to call them goggles because goggles are a lot more fun than lenses. When I think of lenses, I think of like old people and like losing your sight. Goggles are just more fun. Like you can wear goggles when you're like snowboarding. You can wear goggles when you're like snowmobiling. Hell, you can wear goggles whenever the heck you want. Girl, if you want to wear goggles, you wear freaking goggles, okay? I'm not putting boundaries on your life. But goggles are just, to me, they're way more fun. So I decided to change my thoughts, first of all. And then I decided to put on my why the fuck not me goggles. Yeah, you heard it right. I got a pair of why the fuck not me goggles, and you have them too. And I decided to go after exactly what I wanted in life, just like you can as well. And trust me, guys, when I say that I forgot my why the fuck not me goggles at home so many times, and I was stuck wearing other different goggles, that those why the fuck not me goggles would have been very optimal at the time. But instead, I chose to wear my judgment goggles. And maybe I'd go out to the world wearing my judgment goggles. I'm judging other people. I'm judging myself. Kind of being an asshole, right? It's okay, you know, it's not actually me and my true self. It was maybe Patricia. It was me, but I was wearing my judgment goggles. And we have the choice to take those goggles off. I also sometimes put on my fear goggles. My fear goggles sometimes make me just sit at home and choose to wear them. I just decide that I want to wear them, even though I know that I should be wearing my why the fuck not me goggles. I choose to wear my fear goggles because it's more comfortable, because I like sitting in my trench with my fear goggles on, okay? Leave me alone. Let me live my life. Sometimes I wear my I'm not good enough goggles. Have you ever had those ones on? Right? Start comparing yourself to others. You think that somebody else's greatness somehow takes away from yours? Doesn't, right? We can all thrive, but when we're wearing those I'm not good enough goggles, it really messes with you. And sometimes if you're wearing your judgment goggles, maybe you look down on other people. It's not your fault. They're just your judgment goggles. Because you're learning about them. You're learning that you're wearing them. And you're able to change it, right? And an amazing quote from a genius, Albert Einstein. So he says, "Everyone is genius. But if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid." How powerful is that? If you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it's stupid. Imagine if that fish gave up trying new things and never learned how to swim. That's what we do. when we put on all these different goggles. We're limiting our potential. But the main thing is you're going to go from those judgment goggles, those fear goggles, to those why the fuck not me goggles, to the I'm not good enough goggles. You're going to go through them, but as long as you do not ever give up and just be like, you know what? I'm just going to wear my fear goggles for the rest of my life. You know what? that's it. This is all there is for me. I'm just going to give up and I'm just going to wear my I'm not good enough goggles for the rest of my life, okay? Just leave me alone. Right? As long as you don't give up, you're going to be like that damn fish that learns that he can swim, and he's going to find out exactly what it is that lights him up and his purpose and passion in this world. Exact same thing as you. So just make sure that you're not staying with those goggles on for too long. Okay? It's okay to have them. So everything's perfect. It's perfect when you're wearing those judgment goggles. It's perfect when you're wearing those fear goggles. It's perfect when you're wearing the I'm not good enough goggles. All of them. They're all perfect. And right now, you may be that fish that's feeling super confused, not knowing what your zone of genius is. You're trying to climb a tree, but you don't even have hands. It's okay. You don't need to be good at everything. You just need to figure out what it is you're good at. You need to be open and curious as to trying different things and releasing that fear of failure. Because there's no such thing as failure. It's always learning and moving forward. And finding what your zone of genius is. And maybe you don't know what that zone of genius is, but that's okay. Because remember, everything's perfect. Just stay curious, open. Keep picking up those little candies, even after picking up those shitty black licorices. Don't even get me back started on that again. But just keep going. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. Ah, shit of licorice. Ooh, piece of candy. Just keep on going. That's the main thing of this. That's all life is. Life isn't hard. Life is fun. You get to go through all these challenges, these ups and downs, and you get to make whatever you want to make it. You can choose to put your fear goggles on. You could choose to wear your I'm not good enough goggles, or you could choose to wear your why the fuck not me goggles. So that's where the frickin' epic shit happens, is when you're wearing those why the fuck not me goggles. But just remember, too, like the amount of times that I found myself wearing my failure goggles where I was terrified to get another frickin' black licorice, that I never, ever picked up another candy for days. I frickin' love candies. Like, fear is real. That fear of not wanting that black licorice candy is like a legit thing. And it's okay to feel that fear. Or waking up alone in bed with my I'm not special enough goggles glued to my face, thinking that nobody's ever going to love me. And these I'm not good enough goggles, they're just there, right? You just, every once in a while, you need to find the courage and the strength within you, that sometimes too quiet voice that's in your head that's telling you to make a bold move and that's encouraging you that you have all this greatness built up inside of you ready to come out. Sometimes it's super quiet. It's like whispering. It's like, you have this greatness. You have this greatness. Go for it. But then you've got that big ego being like, you're not good enough, right? It's overshadowing it. Sometimes you just have to be bold enough to listen to that little voice. And whatever that move is you've been thinking of making, whether it's applying for that new job, maybe moving to that different city, maybe going out to that new restaurant that you've been wanting to go to. Maybe you want to go on that trip. Maybe you want to cut out that toxic relationship that's been dragging you down for a while now. Maybe it's to be bold and go on into that new fitness class that you really want to try. Maybe you want to ask that sexy man or woman that you just met out at the coffee shop. You want to ask them out on a date. Oh yeah, hubba hubba. Maybe you want to say no. You want to say no to something. To going somewhere that keeps feeling like an obligation. Maybe you want to dump that no good boyfriend or girlfriend. You want to just get rid of them once and for all. Maybe you want to start your own business when you only have a few tiny ideas. And you just got to be bold. Even if it's just once a month, you get the courage to put on those why the fuck not me goggles, you're going to be amazed at the life you begin to live. Like now, and a little bit of an advanced warning here. You may have to build up a tolerance to these glasses, okay? So the first time that you put on these why the fuck not me goggles, you're going to feel frickin' great, okay? You're going to feel great, I'll warn you. When you decide that you're going to put on these why the fuck not me goggles and you're going to start climbing out of that trench that you've happily dug yourself for a while now, until now, you're going to have them on, you're going to feel invincible for like 30 seconds. And then you'll take them off, toss them to the ground, put on one of your many other goggles of choice that you usually go to. Is it your fear goggles? Is it your judgment goggles? You choose. And then you're going to go back into your trench. Okay? Warning, it's going to happen. And you're going to stay there for a while. So you get that urge of strength again. So you toss them on again. You toss on those why the fuck not me goggles. And you do something crazy. Maybe you freaking wear your socks in the shower. You crazy animal, you. You put on those why the fuck not me goggles, you go in the shower. You're leaving those fear of judgment goggles behind. You don't give a fuck whether somebody says something to you. Your hubby's like, why the heck are you wearing your socks in the shower? You're like, let me live my life, man. Or maybe it's your friggin' I'm not good enough freaking goggles. Like, I don't know, maybe you don't think you're worthy enough to wear your socks in the shower. Know that you are. You're worthy to try anything in life, right? You build up that courage. You're ready to shock everyone by applying to that new job. And you're like, yeah, until the day before your interview. And then you opt in for the I'm not good enough goggles. And then you don't get the job, and then you're back into your trench. Like, life is going to throw you those curves. We're not going to get things we want to get because we're wearing these goggles, right? And all these goggles they're all limiting beliefs, right? We can learn how to wear our why the fuck not me goggles more often. And it's going to be a thing that happens over and over and over again, but you're just going to keep learning. You're just going to keep growing. You're going to keep picking up those candies, and you just keep on going. So again, you build up the courage. You're giving yourself the pep talk. You're like, you know what? You can do this. We got this. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, I can put these goggles on. We're going to do this. You build up that courage. But after days and weeks of working through your stories and limiting beliefs, working super hard on your internal world, you're feeling so good. You're feeling so freaking incredible. You're honestly now, like, somewhat enjoying what you're going through. You're kind of like enjoying the thrill of people's faces, wondering, are they judging me? They might be, but they've got a smile on their face, right? Because you're doing something different. You're growing. And now you're able to keep those goggles on for a little bit longer. A little bit longer amount of time. And even when you fall back into wearing those other goggles that you don't want to do, they somehow seem to be less tinted. And they don't affect you as much. So those judgment goggles, you're not really being affected by the judgment anymore as much. You still got them on. It's definitely not your why the fuck not me goggles. But it's less. Somehow, to get out of your trench, it seems a little bit easier to get out. And this is a continual thing throughout life. And the key thing is being aware of which goggles you're wearing. What are your goggles of choice right now? Like, thinking back to the decisions you've made, your daily, day-to-day life. What goggles are you currently wearing? I know for me in the past, it's typically been those frickin' judgment goggles. And the cool thing about those judgment goggles is that when we realize that we think that people are judging us, we really have no clue what's going on in their heads. And it's really just us judging ourselves because it's all a reflection. So the easiest way to call yourself out on this is the thoughts that you're having on your head. That's the only way you're able to look at the world, right? Like that, we just know what's going on in our own heads. We don't know what's going on in everybody else's heads. But whatever goggles it is that you're wearing, if you find that you are wearing these judgment goggles and you find that you think that other people are judging you, right? It's always going to be about us. The first thing we notice is always going to be about us because that's our ego. Our ego wants us to think about us. But when you think about judgment, if you think people are judging chances are, you're probably pretty hard on other people too. You're probably judging a lot of other people too. So become conscious of your thoughts about judging other people. And then if you're judging other people, chances are you're probably judging yourself a lot too. So what is it that we can change out of all that? Can we change the thoughts that we think are going on in other people's heads? No, we can't. I wish we could. Well, we can, because we can just change what's in our head. So we can change those thoughts that we're having about ourselves. So whatever we're catching ourselves, judging ourselves, we can be easier on ourselves. Remind ourselves that we're doing a freaking epic job. Whenever we find that we're judging other people or being hard on other people, we can be easier on them. We can catch ourselves and be easier on them. And as you begin making those shifts and really understanding that anything that we think is going on in somebody else's head is not true. It's just what we think, they think, they're thinking, which is not ever the case. We just need to take control over our thoughts. We need to correct how we're acting towards ourselves, first of all. We need to change the way we're acting toward other people. And then watch as the magic starts shifting, where your thoughts start shifting about how other people are also seeing you in the world. Because people are always seeing the beauty in you. We just think that they're not. So when we start shifting that beauty towards ourselves and the beauty toward others, we're going to start seeing that other people are actually seeing us for who we are. So if you remember that list that I got you to make of your list of 25 things that you do want in life. First off, I'm going to stretch you a little bit more, and I want you to revamp that list. I want you to dream bigger than you did last time. Yeah, I know it was only a couple days ago, but you are now dreaming bigger. Push yourself. Do it up. Let's go. Because remember, if it doesn't scare you, then you haven't went big enough. You haven't dreamed big enough. There needs to be that level of fear, or else you're just setting goals within your trench. Like, do you really want to be setting goals within your own frickin' trench? No. You want to be setting goals that are like beyond the trench in the pasture. That's where you want to be living your life. So now is the hard part. This is where the radical responsibility comes in, the radical honestness. I want you to go and grab your glasses, your goggles, okay? This time you're going to put on your goggles, your I'm being honest as fuck goggles, okay? You're going to ask yourself, why the heck do I not have these things in my life yet? Go to your list of 25 things and ask yourself, why don't I have these things yet? What is wrong with me? What is wrong with me that I don't have these things on this list yet? There are so many other people that do. So come on, like why? What is the real reason why you don't have those things yet? And see what comes up. You're going to find that there's some limiting beliefs, maybe some other goggles that you're wearing. Remember, there's lots and lots of different goggles and limiting beliefs you can have that you may be wearing. And maybe when you start digging through that list, you'll start finding some common ones. So if you're open to sharing what your common ones are in the group, that'd be amazing, because as you start to open up and find yours, you're going to inspire others to open up and find theirs. And then that's how we learn and we grow. Because if we don't know what's holding us back, then we'll never be able to fix it and we'll never be able to move forward. So that's something that I would love for you to do, is to whip out your little list, 25 things. Ask yourself, why don't I have these in my life yet? And ask yourself why a couple times. And see what comes up. Try to keep digging for that core root. If you want to do this with a friend, partner, it's good, because then they can really push you and challenge you, question you on your answers. I remember to give them permission to be completely honest, so that your ego doesn't get mad when they test you a little bit, because stuff can get dicey when you're playing with the ego. It always keeps things interesting. And remember too, when you're doing it, like, there is no right or wrong. There are endless different brands of goggles, different colors of goggles. Whatever words that come into your head first, write them down. Doesn't matter if it's the same as somebody else's, whatever that specific wording is that comes into your mind. And it's super important to note too, when you do this, like ask yourself and write down the first thing that comes to your mind, because the way that your conscious mind works and your subconscious mind, when you say it initially, that's your subconscious mind. That's what you want to tap into. When you take too long, your conscious mind's going to kick in and it's going to start justifying it. So it's going to be like, say like you want to have a dream house, okay? You want to build this dream house. So your subconscious mind is going to be like, bitch, you don't have any money. Then your conscious mind is going to be like, well, no, like we have money. Like, I don't think that's what it is. Like, we could make a nice small house, right? It's going to start justifying things. It's just going to change stuff around. So you want to really, like, it doesn't even have to make sense. You could, like, literally, like, it could be like, think of a zebra. Just freaking write down a zebra. Just trust me on this. There's more in your subconscious mind than you ever understand is possible. And if it does say a zebra, it's a code for something. So you need to decode it, which Google's always good. You can just be like, the significance of a zebra. And then it'll come up with something. And you can be like, okay, that could be it. It's like a fun game. But seriously, do it with whatever comes up to your mind. No judgment. Cut the judgment out. Be real, raw, honest with yourself, and see what type of things come up. This is how you're going to start finding out what your limiting beliefs are and what goggles you're wearing on a typical daily basis. Because unless we know what goggles you're wearing, we don't know how to change them. Because they all have different ways of being able to change them so that you can get into wearing your why the fuck not me goggles more often and start creating epic shit in your life. Okay? So that's going to be your task for tonight. Woohoo! Y'all ready for this? So remember, don't judge them. Thank them for being bold, for revealing themselves, because we can't begin to fix things that we don't know exist. And if you can't think of much or you aren't really sure, it's okay to take some time to think about it and come back to it. And remember, if you're not dreaming very big right now, it's okay. It's perfect. Think about you and your personal life. Like, what would you love to change? And just do things for you. So we're going to leave it off there for today, okay? So if you're very serious about radically improving your life and growing as a human being on this planet, this beautiful planet called Earth, I wonder who named it Earth, by the way, then you'll take some time to do this exercise and you'll sit with it. Take some time. Be with your thoughts. Get rid of the distractions. Clear some space out in your brain. Be present. Think about it. You're going to be amazing when you start doing that. Some of the shit that comes up. You're a lot more brilliant than you think. It's just you haven't accessed it yet. So I'm so excited to see what comes up. I'm excited to see what's holding you back. Seems like a weird thing to think about, but I'm excited to see what comes up. And just know that this is just the beginning. Because just like your list of what you don't want in your life is a springboard to what you do want in life, knowing what is holding you back is also the springboard to what can propel you into oblivion of what you want to create in this world. So remember that it is safe to open up your heart. It's safe to open up your head. It's okay to dream bigger. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be vulnerable. Everything's okay. Everything's perfect just the way that it is. And you are loved, and I'm so proud of you for being completed day number 5. So don't forget about your exercise, and then we will see you back tomorrow for day number 6 and another epic podcast for you. But I love you, and have the most amazing day. Bye.